Okay, and in the case of Sarah Michelle Gellar,
she actually kept working when the show went off the air.
Well, she did, sort of. She hasn't exactly killed herself.
Yeah, but she's worked. The guy who played Alexis Denisov, he barely worked after the show went off the air.
Alexis Denisov? Who?
Yeah, Alexis Denisov. Married to Alison Hannigan.
Who did he play?
He was the British guy.
Oh, okay. The guy that was on...
Giles' friend? The other watcher?
No, he was on Angel.
Well, still, he was Giles' friend. Well, yeah. No, they both worked for the same organization.
Yeah, they both worked
for season 3, he showed up to replace Giles because they didn't like what the job he was doing.
They work with the same organization. But
hi, for those of you who've just tuned in, everyone here is a crazy person.
There are forces at work here, dark, incomprehensible forces.
Oh, you should put that speech on tape.
He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
Hello, Chicago, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Gotta drink to that.
Welcome to Alternate Reality.
There's something different.
The world's overpopulated, but hey, I got a daughter, and I got Well,
the world's
I got Damian Wayne hanging around. Yeah, but kill Damian.
The world's overpopulated with all those other people, not my people
who don't look like me.
So let me ask you a question we haven't talked about yet. Batman 50.
I haven't read it yet.
I did.
Okay, well, spoiler: he doesn't get married.
I did. I read it.
Duh.
What'd you think of it?
Tom King better have a payoff. He said he's doing this up to issue 100.
Okay, so
I'm going to stick to 100. He better have a damn good payoff for what I read on now.
He's got 49 issues to go.
I am so disappointed I'm not getting married. This is Lois and Clark crap.
Yeah.
This is the same crap that they had to do with Superman and Lois on Lois and Clark, but DC had to do it because of the TV series. There's no TV series stopping them on this thing. This was self-inflicted on DC.
They could have bit the bullet and go ahead and see what happens if he got married. Why would you...
The character needs to get married. Really, the character needs to change. The same reason Superman needed to get married.
Batman can't walk around being goofy and horny every time Catwoman walks by.
I don't think he's going to get goofy and horny. In issue 51, he rips a urinal out of the wall and throws it across a bathroom.
Yeah,
he's so pissed off.
He's not very happy.
I think they're doing this because remember the whole thing where they was trying to put him and Wonder Woman together, and everybody kept saying it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
No, and it won't work. They're not destined to be together. He's destined to be with Selena Kyle, just like Superman was destined to be with Lois Lane. You can throw Superman and Wonder Woman together for Superman Wonder Woman in the New 52 and let them have adventures, romantic or otherwise, together. But ultimately, it's Superman and Lois and Clark, that triangle, and ultimately it's Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Selena Kyle, Catwoman. And why they didn't get them married, this is just tease.
That was. And Dick Grayson is going to take over while they go off on the honeymoon.
And who's going to believe them when they actually do it next time?
Nobody.
Seriously, if they're actually going to have them get married, and they're actually going to go through all the motions of this for 100, everyone's going to say we did this already.
You're going to low.
No, Joker's finna do something to mess that up.
But you know where they could go if they wanted to have a honeymoon? They could come to 111th and Kedzie here in Mount Greenwood. They can stop off.
Do you have a whirlpool in here?
They can stop. I will put a whirlpool in for Bruce and Selena if they are going to come here to the store.
Well, she'd probably steal one and just bring it in.
Here at Alternate Reality, we're located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are 15% off every day for everyone. Folks, welcome to the Alternate Reality, the store's semi-weekly, sort of weekly, about 3 times a month podcast. JR will be on the show at the end of this episode with a review. Stay tuned. We'll see what it is. But
why don't we have a theme song yet, Dan?
We have a theme song. We just came out of it. Listen to the podcast once in a while. Yeah, question, Bo. This is like episode 82 or 83.
Send me the entire musical themes for the entire show.
Have you ever actually listened to one of these?
No, I have.
That is sad and
doing
pathetic.
them. Why would I want to listen to something I just did?
Because it's more than just that when I get done with it. Anyway, joining me for the podcast is the one, the only, the inimitable music man himself who does the opening theme for the show, Mr. Rod Flash.
Dun, 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 dun. Hello, boys and girls.
Mr. Tambourine Man?
Yes.
And joining him is the mope who never listens to the show, Bo.
So, I'm a busy man, okay?
Yeah, you're a busy man. And this is going to be the dark side of the social media. I really hate that title. I'll probably change it. Dark side of the social media episode of
Social,
the
not
Alternate
social.
Reality. Social, not social. This episode was given life by the gun firing over at Disney.
Yes.
From Guardians of the
Guardians
Galaxy.
of the Galaxy
because
Volume 3.
when it was outed that he had said some horrible, horrible things when he was younger.
2000.
And we'll get to the whole backstory of it. But he said some horrible, horrible things online, tweeting them out. When he was younger, of course, you put it on the internet. You can delete it as much as you want. It's there forever.
Always there.
It's never going away. And so Disney fired him. And once they fired him, then all of a sudden you had a huge uproar about, well, we like him. I mean, yeah, he did bad stuff, but this one we like, and can't we keep him?
The bad stuff thing is a debatable part of this entire story.
Well, yeah, but we'll get to that. We'll get to all that. And from there, it's not just the gun story, though.
Yeah,
there's other events that have happened previous to the gun story and post the gun story.
The same week. Actually, the same week. It actually started out with one of the points here.
Previous and post, but all of it swirls around the toxic landscape out there on the internet, which I would think would be at this point in time, considering the last couple of years in both politics and online. I hate to use the word discussion because it's basically just people screaming at each other. But
I hate you!
Online discourse. Online discourse brought us all to toxic media. We're hardly the first ones to ever talk about this, but Bo got so upset by the gun thing.
That's quite upset. And other things
I'm more
around that.
about it. But he got so upset by that he wanted to do an episode about the toxic media. So, Bo,
yes,
take it away.
Okay, Friday of San Diego, the announcement was made that James Gunn was removed as writer-director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
But why?
After comments he made years ago, 2008 and 2011, on social media about rape and pedophilia.
What social media?
Well, Twitter. Specifically Twitter.
Which is the reason why I've always said Twitter is the devil's worship. Don't go on Twitter.
Don't tweet.
I spend the majority of my time on Facebook.
What about Instagram?
If for no other reason, at least on Facebook, you can talk about stuff. Well,
you can still talk about
with
stuff.
Twitter, it's 100, and I know it's not.
No, it's not 100.
It's not 144 characters anymore. But up until this year, it's been 144 characters, which is just enough to type out, "I hate you. You're a stupid head. I hope you die and burn in hell."
Well, and actually,
only if that's tame.
Well, no. Well, actually, what's happened on Twitter is you've gone well past 140. There is no limit on Twitter anymore. You can post as long as you want. Stuff. James Gunn actually apologized for the stuff he said in 2008 and 2011 before the first Guardians film even started production. So this wasn't exactly news. This was old. He already said, "I'm sorry I said this. I was trying to make jokes. Obviously the jokes weren't funny, and I hope people will forgive me." And Disney, who made this knee-jerk reaction to fire him, were fully aware of what he said 3 years ago when he said he was sorry. So for Alan Horn, the guy in charge of Disney, not Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, and anyone connected with Marvel Studios has said absolutely nothing about this firing. It's as if they don't exist anymore.
Well, I'm sure that they were told,
they were probably,
shut up.
Yeah, they were told to shut up.
And by the way, you're employees of the Disney Corporation.
Yeah.
You are not employees of Marvel Entertainment. You work for Marvel Entertainment, which is owned by us.
Yeah,
so it makes us your boss. So shut up.
Put on the mouse ears and be quiet.
Yeah, put the mouse ears around your mouth and be absolutely quiet. The relationship between David Bautista and Disney right now is non-existent. He is not happy. And so once his contract's up, don't expect him to come back. He's done.
He'd make a great Bane.
He probably would make a great Bane. He probably would make a great Bane, but I doubt very seriously he'd be wandering over into DCville. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and Kieran Gillen have posted they love every member of the family. Michael Rooker and his representatives have left Twitter altogether. They said, we're done with this. We're not going to post anything here. We're not going to post anything anywhere. Now, Rooker's social media presence...
Well, he died in 2, so I mean, he's
he's sort of done with the Guardians thing, but he also is still working. His social media presence was Twitter and Instagram. So now if he posts stuff, it's only on Instagram. Comedian Bobcat Goldthwait told Disney, you're using my voice for a theme park ride? Stop.
Oh, he went off. Did you read everything?
Oh, yeah. He goes, wait a minute. You're the same guys who made Powder.
Okay, well, Bobcat Goldthwait they just didn't grab his voice and throw it up on a ride.
Well, he was in it.
There's a contract there.
There was a contract there. Well, the contract.
So I mean, he can say that, but if Disney says no, we don't want to,
and then his lawyers
they're perfectly within
No,
their
what
rights.
Bobcat said, I said a lot of stupid, ignorant stuff in the
you
past.
want to talk about offensive stuff?
Yeah, I was very offensive.
It was ridiculously offensive. That was
there's a movie that he did called Shakes the Clown, which
really
you really need to be over 18 to watch this movie.
Yeah. Apparently, he's allowed to terminate his contract, and so they have to remove it.
Did you also hear what he said? Oh, by the way, James Woods also did some characters in there too. Maybe you should read what he done in the past.
Yeah, maybe you should read some of James Woods' social media posts.
Basically notorious for not having such good behavior in the past and present.
James Woods last year was taken and raked amongst the coals a lot because James Woods apparently, according to his social media feed and people who talked about him, he likes hitting on teenage girls. And Amber Tamblyn goes, he hit on me.
I was 13.
He hit on me when I was 13 years old at a restaurant, and I was next to Armie Hammer, and we were like, why is he hitting on us? He's old enough to be our fathers.
Where is her father?
Her father's dead.
Okay, where's her mother?
Her mother is also gone.
Where's her guardian?
She doesn't have a guardian. She's an adult.
Well, she's not a 13-year-old walking around without anybody watching over her.
Well, she was with her. She was a friend, actor Armie Hammer at a restaurant, and he hit on her.
Okay, a 13-year-old girl just doesn't go out and wander the streets and then check herself in and check herself out. She's got a guardian somewhere.
She was having lunch with a friend of hers.
Okay, fine.
She's allowed to do that.
She's allowed to do that, but
she didn't need a guardian to go have lunch.
I have a 17-year-old daughter who was at a party last night, and when I left here, one of the first things I did was call her mother and say, do I need to go check in on her?
What party? Where'd she go?
I forget what the name of it is. It is a Mexican bar mitzvah, essentially, for a young girl.
There's no such
Quintessilla.
Oh, okay. She went to
she went to one of those. Okay. Went to one, and from what I heard, it was wonderful. It was marvelous. But she was also. But she was also there. No, she got a little compact as a gift. But she had a wonderful time. And my attitude was, I knew she was going to this thing. Wendy let her take the truck to drive herself to this thing. And she's a very responsible young girl, but she's 17. Yeah.
I'm watching. What are you doing?
As responsible as she is, and as proud of her as I am, for as responsible as she is, and that she's a good girl and she's a smart girl. And at 17, a lot of dumb stuff just sort of creeps up on you. You're not looking for it, but it finds you. And says, "Hey, let's dance."
Yeah, there are PSA announcements.
I quite remember that.
Finally, on this point, Santa's creator Jim Starlin thinks the whole thing started because Roseanne Barr got fired from ABC, and Disney's owned by ABC, and so Cernovich and his ilk decided to go, well, we're going to get this guy.
Tit for tat.
It's tit for tat. Now, my take on this whole thing: 6 months from now, Gunn will be back. What they should have done with the smart thing would have been, we investigated what happened. We're going to look into it. We'll examine it, and we'll come back and tell you what it is.
That's not what they did.
And then around Christmas time...
But that's not what they did.
No, that's not what they did.
No,
they basically made these snap judgments. We're going to fire him right now. And anyone coming into doing Guardians 3 is going to come into a cast...
Who's running Captain Marvel?
Well, the Captain Marvel guys are the guys who did the Avengers work. The Russo brothers.
That's cosmic.
They're taking a break from all this. We've done enough Marvel stuff. We're going to take a little break. We've got TV shows to do. And so Gunn was supposed to be the guy in charge of all the cosmic stuff. Once you got to that point, now you've got no one to do that stuff. And so now you've got to find someone, because they were supposed to start shooting Guardians 3 in January. You're not doing that now.
So the movie's delayed because
the movie will be delayed because you're going to have to find someone who's going to walk into this thing with a lot of people who are going to look at him and go, you're not James Gunn.
You're not James Gunn.
And so therefore we have no reason to be nice to you. We will work and we will do things, but don't expect us to do media.
What about the guy that did Thor Ragnarok?
He's a possibility. He's got an opening, but they've got to come to him.
Do they have to do a Guardians 3?
Yes. Guardians 3 is part of Phase 4.
Do they have to do a Guardians 3 in the current order that it's in?
It's a 2020 film.
Can it get moved farther back down? Well, if it hasn't even been announced yet, it doesn't have to happen.
Well, they already said we have a release date. So, yeah, they were kind of set. This is in motion. They booked up
the release date doesn't mean anything that far down the road.
Well, and then they had a year release. They had a year. They didn't have a date set. But you've already started booking studio time. You already had to book sound stages. You've already had actors who go, okay, I'm doing this then. I can't do this. I can't do this. I got to do this because I'm set for this. Now all that goes out the window. My opinion, by the time December rolls around, Gunn will magically come back and they'll say, all is forgiven.
Well, either that or Disney will decide it's time for us to throw our weight around, which will be a disaster. But
yeah, which will basically make that set really, really uncomfortable.
Which will be a disaster.
Yeah, it'll be a total disaster. This has become a PR disaster. The advantage they've got right now is the fact that Captain Marvel's not coming out until March. if Captain Marvel was coming out in November or December, this would be a major crap storm that Disney would have to find a way to talk about it, because everyone doing press would be asking, why is James Gunn been fired?
Why is James Gunn off of the...
Why did he get fired? And so you won't be talking about Captain Marvel or anything else. You'll be asking, why did he get fired? That'll be the thing that basically drives everything.
Well, what you were saying is, I think the smart thing would have been for Disney to say, okay, look, we're going to stop the clock. Yeah. We're going to look into this. We're going to do our own internal investigation. We will come out with a finding and throw a date out there, whatever the hell I think it would be. And by that date, we will come out with a finding. Until then, everything is on hold. Everything is frozen. Nobody's moving ahead with anything. It has to do with Guardians of the Galaxy until we get done with this. And then we'll have our findings and we'll make our decisions. At some point farther down the road, when everybody's forgotten about this, nobody gives a damn anymore.
Yeah, sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
We announced that he's cleared. Oh, we were shopping for presents. We forgot.
And you know what you do? You bury the announcement at Christmas, and you bury it with some sort of other big news story. Yeah. And we just put together the cast for the Fantastic Four. Yeah. Here's Reed Richards. Here's Sue Richards. Here's Johnny Storm. Here's Ben Grimm. And by the way, exactly. And by the way, Gunn's coming back this Guardians of the Galaxy. So anyway, everybody have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. God bless you all. Take care.
Don't forget to tip your bartenders on the way out.
Be sure to stop off at the theme park and take a ride on the Bobcat Goldthwait ride.
Also this week, AMC announced that Chris Hardwick was no longer suspended from hosting Talking Dead and the.
Well, wait a minute. Before we get into Chris Hardwick, is there anything else with James Gunn you want to talk about?
Gunn has been doing the right thing. Gunn said, "I'm sorry, and I understand what they're doing," and you haven't heard a peep out of him.
Recently, I just read that Amazon was supposed to do a reboot of Starsky and Hutch.
Amazon was going to do a reboot of Starsky and Hutch, and Amazon said, "We never tell you what shows we don't pick up." Amazon, because I go through all these pilot things every year, I look it up. Amazon orders about 13 or 14 projects. They only talk about the ones they pick up. They never talk about the stuff they don't. We don't do this. If we don't pick up a show, it never happened. So we decided this 3 months ago. We weren't going to do it because it didn't make our cut.
I would assume that James Gunn is not saying anything about this because there is probably a verbal agreement somewhere. Let's just let this cool down, and we'll revisit this in the third or fourth quarter of this year. And we'll
said between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Come back to this. Batista going off the rails and getting upset about this doesn't surprise me at all. And the actors doing that doesn't surprise me at all. I would assume that if Disney did make some sort of agreement with Gunn, was don't talk to anybody, including the actors. They're going to do what they do. Hopefully, we will be able to control them enough so they won't shoot themselves in the head over this. Because if everything settles out the way it should, then it won't matter. So let's hope that they don't do anything that they can't walk back.
Well, I would imagine that the cast of the movies have probably been over to James Gunn's house, and they probably went out to dinner multiple times. Just somebody's following him around with cameras.
And know him and Michael Rooker have been friends.
Him and Michael Rooker are buddies. Most people, if you saw James Gunn on the street, you wouldn't know who the hell he was, and so you wouldn't be following him to a restaurant.
So what you're telling me is you probably won't have a moment where James Gunn goes on YouTube and says, "I thought the bitch was white."
Yeah. She won't do a Roseanne.
You probably won't have that with this story. No. You may, but you probably won't.
No, like I said, you will not see Gunn doing anything. He would just basically sit back and go, "I'm just going to sit here and wait." And while I'm waiting, I can write stuff.
Well, yeah, because he's basically in charge of probably the best franchise out of the Marvel superhero universe.
Of all the things that Marvel's done, this was the one that had the least expectancy.
Of course. Look who they had on that.
Before Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Right. This one had the least expectation of actually turning into something. And instead, he turned it into one of their biggest franchises.
Right.
For 2 movies in a row. Not just one, but 2 movies in a row. His second movie arguably was as good as the first one, which most of the sophomore efforts that Marvel did, you can't say that. Iron Man 2 is not as good as 1. Thor 2 is not as good as
Thor. Dark World's not as good as Thor 1.
Winter Soldier is as good, arguably better, although I would always go with the origin, than Captain America. So that one's not in that mix. And of course, Avengers 2 is not as good as Avengers 1. But Guardians of the Galaxy, 1 was great, 2 was great. Could be a Dark Knight thing with Nolan where 3 comes out and sucks. That wouldn't surprise me if that happened, because my attitude is, well, he's due.
Well, how many?
But then again, you can be surprised.
Can you count on your hand how many franchises have always had 1, 2, and 3 movies that was just as good as the original?
Not many. I don't think there's any. I don't
think there's any.
You know, we were talking before in the last episode about Aliens. Aliens 1 and Aliens 2, arguably 2 is better than 1, but only because it's different from 1. They're the same characters,
but the same characters, but different mindsets.
Completely different. Then 3 came along, and it was a huge stumble.
Well, 3 came along, and 3 was basically, we ordered like 4 scripts, and we picked the worst of the 4.
If you pick the first 3 Batman movies with Burton,
with Tim Burton.
2 sucked, and then you could argue 1 was good, 2 sucked, 3 was better. It wasn't as good as 1, but 3 was better. With the Superman movies, the first 3 was a slide downhill. I know a lot of people like Superman 2, but I don't think Superman 2 has aged
I
well.
went back. It hasn't. There's always a risk doing 1 and 2 that's good, but that third one is always something about it.
But
let me give you another example. The Maguire Spider-Man films. Everyone thinks 1 is good, 2 is great, 3 is god awful.
Yeah, 3's awful.
Yeah,
but that wasn't Marvel. That was Sony and Raimi.
The only thing consistent when you see the Lord of the Rings film because they made them all at the same time. Yeah.
Well, that's just one long story. Yeah, that's how you look at that.
It's basically it's
a 9-hour story broken up into 3 movies.
Well, that's what Superman 1 and 2 was supposed to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. But this is a major commitment. You guys have to be hooked up to this thing for like 2 years, and we're gonna make all 3 of these films. And say, well, the quality didn't drop. Well, the quality dropped because we were shooting them all at the same time.
Now, you answer a question for me because I'm really fuzzy on this.
Yes.
This story is just like the Roseanne story, right?
Only in the sense that James Gunn won't be popping up on video having a full-blown meltdown, making her situation much worse every time she pops
they
up.
Crucified Roseanne for what she did.
Well,
and then he comes out with almost exactly the same thing, so he deserved to be crucified too.
Well, it's a quid pro quo. Well, he did it.
So now I guess it's the other side. To nail James Woods up at the cross.
Well, James Woods, James Woods' cross, he was not only nailed
he was,
cross, his cross was cut down and set on fire. James Woods' career is effectively over.
Yeah.
He's done. No one will hire him. Roseanne, being a creature of habit, went, well, James Gunn did it, and that could happen to him. So she threw herself in the middle of that, too.
Oh, boy.
There's only so many times you can set yourself on fire before it becomes boring.
Well, I don't know if anyone's noticed it or not, but Roseanne's an attention whore.
No.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. Okay, so throwing herself in the middle of the woods thing? Yeah, I don't think that was an accident. What can I do to get people to pay attention to me?
Wait a minute, I got more cans of kerosene to pour on the top of myself. Now, at some point we go, okay, where are the marshmallows? Because she just made a fire.
Okay, the gun thing. We're going to take a break. You got anything else that you want to throw into the gun thing?
The gun thing.
Are you done with it?
I'm done with the gun thing.
Okay. Rodney, you got anything?
No, I'm done with it.
Okay. I'm done with it, too. I was done with it when it first came out.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, he wrote a bunch of stupid tweets when he was younger. Dumb guy with too much testosterone who probably wasn't on Jackass because they hadn't invented it yet.
James Gunn was the guy who started out with Trauma. Trauma's entire genre was stupid, inane, insulting jokes.
Well, I think he wrote Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. And Slither and a couple other films are all...
I read the tweets. They were absolutely tasteless. And they were terrible, and they were horrible. And you know what? I have read just as bad from other people over the years who are young and dumb. The fact that they crucified him for this is stupid. The fact that he wrote it was stupid, but he had a reason for doing it. He was stupid.
He said I was young and stupid. Yeah,
which doesn't forgive him, but I mean, what's the statute of limitations on this stuff? We have just gone through a year's worth of Me Too, and Kevin Spacey's career is over with. Harvey Weinstein's career is over. Then believe me, I'm not lighting any Novena candles for any of these people. No. But this is what happened to them. Charlie Rose's career is over with. What's his face from the Today Show? His career is over with.
Yeah. Although Morgan Freeman got caught up on all this, and Morgan Freeman walked away from this. Still Morgan Freeman. People went, we don't believe any of that crap. Go away.
Well, a lot of it depends on how you handle it, and then a lot of it, if you're walking around with your pants off in the office during work hours with nothing on underneath, and you're calling the secretary in acting like it's just another day.
Hi!
It's like, well, you sort of need to not be working here anymore.
Yeah, wear your pants.
Still don't get the logic behind that. Are they still thinking this is Mad Men era or something?
No, because I'm a big deal person with a lot of power, and who's going to say anything about it? You want to work again, right? Okay, well, shut up.
Yeah, I can see that. That's the Weinstein situation.
That was the impetus behind the whole Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Right.
At some point, there has to be some sort of limits on this. Well, not only statute of limitation, but limits on this stuff. I mean, I started this thing off talking about how I think that there was an awful lot of buyer's remorse on the part of fans with, not James Gunn, but we like him. He's not one of the bad ones because we like him. as opposed to, oh, well, Charlie Rose, he's an old guy, who cares? Oh, well, Kevin Spacey, he's never really made anything we care about, so who cares? James Gunn is one of our darlings, so, this really upsets us. And it's like, okay, fine. In that case, you have no standards. Okay, we're done with the Gunn thing. Bo is going to grind an axe over some other stuff right after this.
Located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood, Alternate Reality is the only brick-and-mortar store that discounts all new comics 15% off every day for everyone, and that's been since 1994. And all brand new first issues are discounted at 25% off every new Comic Wednesday. So stop on down and save some money.
Hey everybody, good old JR here. Coming up later in the podcast, I'll be reviewing Tom Cruise's 6th outing as Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible Fallout. But now, let's go back to 3 guys who know what it's like to have all their actions disavowed by the secretary. Yes, our own IMF team, the Impossible Media Forces. Take it away, boys.
Okay, and we're back.
Okay.
Bo, what's on your little pea brain now?
Well, this is also the week that actually the Gunn thing started out the week. This wasn't the first big story of the week. The Monday before San Diego, Brian Michael Bendis basically said he was leaving Facebook.
Okay, why is he leaving Facebook?
Because he said that Facebook was the home of a lot of people who were denying the Holocaust. And he said, I cannot be a member of a forum that is allowing people who are saying this about people of my ethnic heritage.
He's Jewish.
Yeah, he's Jewish.
For those who don't know, he's Jewish.
Right, he's Jewish. He goes, I said, I can't be on this forum. Because basically you're saying these people can post anything they want saying the Holocaust didn't happen, and most people with a brain know that it did.
Well, I just read today, not to tie in directly with that, but what's his face, Alex Jones?
Yeah.
He's been banned for 30 days off of Facebook.
Yeah, he's been kicked off Facebook for 30 days.
Now, the only thing that bothers me about that is, well, there's a slap on the wrist for you. Which means he'll be back in 30 days talking about how we should assassinate some people.
Well,
and it's like, that's great. Okay?
I think with the big financial hit that Facebook took this week, I think that ban's going to go a lot longer than 30 days.
I think Facebook should wake up that they are not nearly as invincible as they think.
You know what? Zuckerberg did an interview about that whole thing with the Bennett situation, and he comes off as trying to be the cheerleader for everybody. Like, I'm going to make this forum for everybody, and I can't discriminate. But at the same time, common sense should take over and go, you really didn't believe the Holocaust?
That didn't start with Facebook. I mean, that's been going on for a long time.
I know, but it's just that because Facebook is just...
That's just another platform for them.
I am of the firm belief that at least a year or 2 years from now, Facebook, Twitter are going to be regulated as news sources. They're not going to be just this free, happy-go-lucky social media thing, because there are no standards. And so someone is going to step in and go, okay, these are the standards.
Well, the standards that they have adopted, and I can't speak for Twitter.
Are loose as hell.
I can't speak for Twitter because I don't go on Twitter hardly at all. Because, like I said, it's the devil's workshop. As far as Facebook goes, their standards come about whenever there is a tragedy, or whenever there is a election that gets screwed up because maybe they're at fault. Because Cambridge Analytica decided that Facebook would be a great place to like work people's brains.
Yeah, there's also on Monday when this came up, there's this whole new meme popping up on Facebook which is called Walk Away, and people being smart went, oh, the people using these ads, they're all actors. These are all models, and so your entire Walk Away thing, this whole meme thing you're starting, it's all BS.
Well, yeah,
and so everyone's been going, this is all crap.
Well, yeah, there's Republican, and this is not to get into politics, it's just a matter of statement of fact. There are Republican ads that are coming out there saying you should walk away from the Democrats, and these are all print ads. Well, print ads, online ads. They're static ads.
Yeah,
they don't move, and they're all populated with people from Photobucket.
Yeah, these are all models and and pictures.
It's hardworking middle class white teacher. It's Hispanic construction worker. It's black mom volleyball coach. They're all doing the walk away thing, and they were outed with that because, hey, look, here they are on a Photobucket.
Yeah,
and then they're made to look like, yes, I was a Democrat, but now I'm going to walk away.
And now
I've seen Democratic.
And now there's a meme
that
flips it completely on its head. Well, I used to be a Republican because before I found it, they were like whatever.
And the big problem with that is there are people out there who see that and then they believe it and then it's locked in their head, like the Pizzagate thing. That Hillary Clinton is running a child sex ring out of the basement of a pizzeria in Boston. It's like, I saw that 3 months, 4 months, whenever it was before the election in 2016.
Really?
My take on it, well, that's obviously BS. Yeah. And then I'm hearing like a month later that there are all these people out there to believe it. And it's like, what?
Yeah, some guy showed up with a gun.
What? Yeah, you shot the place up because they're running a child prostitution ring on the basement.
I said, no, we're not. We're actually making pizza.
Well, the first thing I would ask is, well, do they have a basement?
Yeah, is there a basement? Yeah, how many places do not have basements?
But really, you think that a candidate for the highest office in the land is running a child prostitution ring out of a pizza? How much more unbelievable can you make this before you just kick in and go, oh, this isn't real?
One of the things that has happened is the fact that Facebook's been posting a lot of ads lately. They've made it a lot easier to go, I don't want to see this ad anymore. And it's gone.
Good. Yeah, I haven't posted much on Facebook in a while, but most of the stuff I see on there, when that stuff pops up, I just hit the button, just get rid of it and go.
And I've got friends who post things from sites that are just ridiculous, and they got the little thing. Would you like to hide all ads from this particular thing? Yes. Click. The post goes away.
But like I said before, that is because Facebook jerks from tragedy to tragedy to tragedy. Oh, well, we're going to introduce this new thing now, so this one thing never happens again. Well, what about the 50 other fires that are going on? Well, when those actually turn into something, then we'll address them. Until then, it's people having discourse with one another.
We'll do this.
Chris Hardwick.
You
want to talk about Chris Hardwick?
Chris Hardwick was accused of basically being a jerk in a relationship.
Again, this gets into the Me Too thing. This was very much a Me Too story when it first broke.
Yeah, right. And so Chris Hardwick was removed from being a host of Talking Dead, and Nerdist basically had no position whatsoever at San Diego.
Go back a little bit. The original allegation was what?
That Chris Hardwick, during a previous relationship,
not the one he has with his,
not the one he has.
No, this is a previous. This is an old ex-girlfriend who put out an essay on Twitter saying she didn't name him at all, and basically said that she is glad that she was out of a relationship with a guy who basically verbally and sexually assaulted her and made her feel less of a woman. And some nut read it and started going, you know what, Chris Hardwick, didn't you go out with this girl here? Yeah. And he would say nothing about it, and they kept saying, you know what, I think she's talking about Chris Hardwick. So they notified AMC about it. AMC, okay, we're going to investigate this, but for right now, we're pulling you from the.
And he was supposed to be in San Diego, and he was pulled from San Diego.
He's supposed to be on 5 different.
Nerdist is a big multimedia company, and it's during San Diego. Their company's hosting at least 5 or 6 panels.
Well, he's become the guy that Kevin Smith has tried to be for the last 20 years.
He's
a spokesman for nerd culture.
He's the geek. He's the geek master.
Well, he's a geek master that doesn't insult the fan. That's the difference between him and Kevin Smith.
Chris Hardwick is easier to take than Kevin Smith, but I've always had a problem with somebody setting themselves up as, "Hi, I'm the spokesman for." No, you're not.
Well, no.
You can be a fan. You can be a fan, and you can be like really into the thing, and we can all watch you and enjoy living by your reflected glow of your love and your joy for whatever it is. But at some point, hi, I'm the spokesman for nerds everywhere across the country. No, you're not.
But he wasn't the spokesman for nerds.
But that's what he was setting himself.
People who watched him.
He's a nerdist, for God's sake. The name of the thing is a nerdist.
Yeah, but people who watched him all of a sudden made him the spokesman for nerds because, well, he's normal. And he's also a guy who's quite honest about it. He said, in his younger days, he had serious, addictions. Yeah. He went through a lot of bad stuff. He said he was not a very nice or not a very social person. He was kind of really screwed up.
Yeah, I remember that stuff. He was upfront about all this.
Yeah, he got his life together, and he sort of popped up, and he's nice and he's sociable and he's friendly, and so he became, because he was always on. Well, you seem to be the face of nerddom. And then he said, well, I can name my company Nerdist because, well, yeah, we're all a bunch of nerds. And so, he became the face. Kevin Smith wasn't really the face of nerds.
He tried to be.
Kevin Smith was the face of I'm a fat guy from New Jersey who loved comic books.
I'm just like you.
I'm just like you.
I'm just like you.
Yeah, I'm just like you. I'm a regular guy who put together a whole bunch of money to make a movie, that cost like $31,000, and it made a whole bunch of money, and people went, wow, this guy's kind of interesting. Hardwick sort of fell into this. But yeah, it was investigated. AMC pulled him. AMC said, we found there's really nothing here. And so he is back August the 18th, I believe. I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, he's back on the air.
This is the Me Too thing. Like I said, there need to be some sort of limits I can hear women's heads exploding out there, and believe me, like I said, I have a daughter. I don't want her to have to deal with any of this stuff in her life. But at the same time,
we live in the real world.
Well, no, it's not even living in the real world. You shouldn't have to put up with anything like that. No. But once mobs get started with their torches, then a lot of people wind up getting dragged in that are innocent. Look at the HUDAC committees in the 50s. Are you not? Have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
Destroyed careers.
And a lot of people got swept up into that who had absolutely no connection whatsoever, and their choices were rat out your friends. We know you're not a communist, but you know what?
You know
someone. If you don't give us their names,
do we assume you are a communist?
Then we're going to assume you're a communist, and then you
communist sympathizer
or communist sympathizer was just as bad, and then you're going to jail, or you're going to get blacklisted, and you're never going to work in this town ever again, or you're going to be in jail over it. And while there may have been communists, that needed to be rooted out, a lot of innocent people wound up getting screwed over. And when I see the Me Too movement start to spiral out of control, once you get past a certain point where it seems like every week you've got at least 2 or 3 people during the perp walk with their heads hung low. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want Harvey Weinstein to be nailed to the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. But at some point, is our net a little too big? Are we pulling in a few too many fish? And who's getting hurt in the process?
There's a bunch that's been getting hurt since then.
And once it's over with, you get the one in absence of malice. But where do I get my reputation back?
Yeah, you don't.
You just drag me into the mud, and then you said, "Oh, by the way, we didn't do this," but I was on the front page of your newspaper, and you said I was low life, and now all of a sudden, well, you're not a low life. We made a mistake.
But you're gonna steal someone's in the back of the head.
The retraction will be on page 43 6 months from now.
If since we're doing the show in Chicago, you get the guy at the Cub game. For one day, he used to take
the most hated man in Chicago,
and then we find out like a day later, no, he was giving baseballs to other kids around him. So he wasn't this evil, mean guy. He took a baseball from a kid. It's terrible. Why could this person should be taken out? And then the next thing we find out, no, he was actually giving.
All 3 news channels did that exact same thing. They ripped him over the coals, and then the
following day they went, we got the story wrong.
And how many people saw that retraction the following day?
Less than the ones that saw it before. Less than the ones that saw it before.
I will say that retraction was all over Facebook. Jim Williams posted it. From Channel 2, he posted it the next day, and that was shared a lot on Facebook. And everyone has said no. Everybody had this story all wrong.
Yeah, but the ones that blew the story up, did they actually come out and say, "Well, we owe this guy an apology"?
Yeah, they said we screwed up.
Because they could almost Steve Bartman this guy.
Yeah,
this right here, and I remember this saying, and our jerk of the night is this guy right here.
He was the guy who took a baseball from a little kid. And then we find out, no, he didn't take a baseball from a little kid.
He gave him one before that.
Baseball. He gave a bunch of kids around him because he was in the perfect spot to catch a foul ball. And he was giving away baseballs to other kids around him.
Like Mark Twain said over 100 years ago, a lie will work its way around the world before truth can get its pants on getting out of bed. And that is still true today, and it'll be true 100 years from now. A lie will spread faster, farther, and do more damage than the truth that's running up behind it will ever be able to clean it up.
And there will be people when Hardwick pops up going, "Why is he on the air?" And he'll go, "Because I was cleared and I had done nothing wrong."
And they'll be doing damage control with him, and he doesn't need it.
No.
But they'll be doing damage control with him for the next 6 months. Because there will be people out there who won't get the message. Yeah, why is that guy back on? Why is that guy on there?
Oh, the first time he pops up, there'll probably be this nice little thing where he's sitting there going, "Look, this is what happened during the summer, and this was investigated, and I didn't do it, and I was cleared. And if anyone was offended by anything that you thought I did, I am deeply apologized, and I will go out and I will make it a point to give money to charity groups and do social events, which, for women's charities, and I'll do the right thing." And they'll go, "Oh, well, he's kind of cute, so we'll let him get by with it."
One can hope.
We're about ready to wrap this up. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Anna Diop has left social media due to people protesting the fact that she's not orange.
She's
playing Starfire on Titans. And she's black. And people are going, "You're not orange." And she goes, "No one's orange."
Starfire is orange.
Yeah, well, no human being is orange.
No, but Starfire is not a human being. She's an alien.
She's an alien, and so she's wearing makeup, but she's like, "I'm not orange." But people are complaining about her look because...
I went on record with this 6 months ago. I don't care what color the actress is. Corey is orange with green eyes.
Yes.
If she's not orange with green eyes, I don't want to see it.
You can't make Starfire orange on that.
Well, you could. But people were making this assumption while they were seeing them while they were shooting it. They haven't seen her yet.
Batman has not made me feel any better about any of this. As far as Titans go, I have even less interest in watching Titans, not because of her, but because of that Batman.
Well, you don't want to spend. You don't want to spend $10 on streaming service.
I would happily spend $10 on DC Entertainment if, and I've gone on record with this before, George Reeves Superman, Kirk Allen serials, Blackhawk serial. I've never seen the Blackhawk serial. I'd actually like to see that. They have that.
I've seen the breakdown, and none of that stuff is going to be on this.
And that's the main reason why I have no interest in signing up for this.
You'll get
what? I'm going to see a bunch of animated stuff I got sitting on a shelf at home that I can watch.
You'll get the brand new shows, 4 shows right now. You'll get a whole bunch of DC related content. You'll have some kind of comic book connection. I guess if you buy it, you get digital stuff and presents and wangly tankly stuff and little.
I don't care. Most of this, any of the extra stuff they're going to do is going to wind up online. As far as she goes, which is the point behind this, as far as she goes, I've seen the trailer. I can't see anything in there that tells me one way or the other whether she's going to be any good or looks like Starfire or anything. The only shot they have of her is her face against a bunch of golden Kirby crackle, and you can't even see what's going out with a bunch of crap flying around. I still haven't seen anything. Now, she could suck as Starfire, but it doesn't matter who the actress is as long as the character is orange. Same with Beast Boy. Beast Boy's green.
Yes, green.
If Beast Boy's not being green, I don't want to see it.
I saw the green.
I am tired of crap like Martian Manhunter is John Jones for 6 episodes. Oh, and here's 3 minutes of him as a CGI John Jones because that's all we can afford. Then we're back to him as the black actor again for 6 episodes. I'm sorry, I have no problem with the black John Jones. What I have a problem with is where the hell is the green
Martian Manhunter?
Where's the green guy at? That's the guy I want to see.
You can't get stuff out of catering in the green thing. And finally, we've got Batman writer Tom King, who had a bodyguard assigned to him in San Diego because people complaining about Batman 50. So he was followed by a bodyguard. Now, Tom King worked for the CIA, so you're not going to kick his ass.
No, he's going to kill you.
He's going to kill you.
He's going to kill you with a pencil.
But he had to have a bodyguard because fans were complaining about Batman 50.
He didn't have to have a bodyguard. Nobody was going to try to kill him.
Well, the San Diego people thought it would be best if he had a bodyguard.
Well, the San Diego people can think that.
And I saw the guy.
And if they want him to have a bodyguard, that's fine.
And I saw the guy, and believe me, no one walked up to Tom King unless he wanted you to walk up to him.
But
this guy looked like Man Martin Marco.
This gets
a walking wall.
This gets into a whole separate issue of convention security. We talked about a year ago about the Punisher guy. He tried to carry a real gun to the convention floor, passing it off as a prop, and it wasn't. And why are you trying to bring a real gun into the convention floor?
It's realistic.
And if you do, what are you planning on doing with it once you get down there? Because nothing good can come of this.
No.
So, which is one of the reasons why they've gotten real anal about props and
swords.
What you're carrying in. Swords, guns, whatever.
And they've also got about exhibitors selling swords and stuff.
But Tom King being threatened by some nerd that he's going to kill him, nobody should be threatened with that in the first place. No. That shouldn't happen.
It's not accepted social.
But how seriously do you take it?
Well, San Diego.
I didn't hear what it was, and I don't know what the backing to the story was. I don't know how real it sounded, but you know what? I'm going to kill you because Batman should have got married to Catwoman and they were 50 and I bought it. I was disappointed. It's like, shut up. So I'm going to kill you. Shut up.
And so the people in San Diego said we would like you to walk around with a bodyguard. Because we don't want anyone to come up to you and do anything.
And again, that's up to San Diego, and that's fine. It's better safe than sorry. Was he really in any trouble?
You never know.
Well, forget a bodyguard because somebody's going to try to kill him. What about somebody just punching somebody out at a con? I mean, every once in a while, you wind up with fights going on. One nerd is pissed off at another one, and the only way they can figure out how to settle it is to beat the crap out of each other.
Slap fight.
Yeah, slap
I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, so for all the folks out there who feel emboldened for whatever reason,
when you get in the real world, people usually punch you in the head.
It's not like comics, boys and girls.
Comics are friendly. Comics are for everyone.
Well, the stuff the Punisher does in the comics, do not try this at home.
No, don't try this at home.
Okay, George Reeves, they used to have a thing. Gosh, if I get a Superman costume, I can feel just like you, Superman. No. And George Reeves would do an episode or two where he'd say, "No, Bobby, you can't fly because you wear a Superman costume. Because there were kids who would do that. They get
Yeah.
Superman costume, jump off their roof.
Yeah, that's
think they
why-
were flying, and that bothered the hell out of them.
Hey, I used to do it.
That's why you get the Fantastic Four cartoon. How come we can't have the Human Torch? Because kids are going to set themselves.
He's
Well, that
on
was
fire.
stupid. Kids aren't going to set themselves on fire.
Well, there's some pretty stupid kids out there.
Yeah.
Remember, kids back then were eating paste.
We can't run a Fantastic Four cartoon. Why? Because the kid's going to start gluing orange bricks to himself.
Right.
Yeah, and I...
Superboy hadn't been invented yet, so just...
Okay, are we done with saving the world as we know it?
Be nice when you're on social media. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, well, I've seen some of your posts on social media.
Hey, I'm not being a jerk. I'm making my point.
No, you're being a jerk making your point. Okay, you could turn down the flame a little bit.
I am a man who has made it quite clear on Facebook. As I get older, I get less and less tolerant of BS.
As you get older and you get less and less tolerant of BS, just screen it out. Stop acting like
Why
you have to,
should I?
Because you've only got so many years left in you. You want to spend them getting all chewed up inside?
I'm not going to die because of it.
Okay, I transitioned into a position about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, but but people hated you because you hate cosplay.
I was talking to a customer about this week. The boycott is still out there.
Yeah.
Alternate reality is still being boycotted.
You still being boycotted for cosplay?
It's still.
It was like 7 years ago.
He looked it up. I told him type in alternate reality plus boycott on Google and see what comes up.
It is.
And he said it's right here. It's at the top of the page. Yeah, I know. It's every once in a while I step in and look at
You
it.
still being boycotted?
I'm still being boycotted in Florida.
You haven't been to Florida for years. What do you care?
I'm still being boycotted in Florida. I am losing. You know how much money I'm losing from people who are not driving from Florida to get their comics?
So in other words, guys that's dressing up like Betty and Veronica, they're mad at him, and they're going to stay mad at him.
No. Don't blanket statement. People are dressed up like Betty and Veronica.
I said male. I didn't say female.
Oh, male. Wow.
I said male guys dressing up like Betty and Veronica.
Well, then you're getting into the whole issue of cross-dressing.
No, costume. Let me rephrase that.
Costumes. But
Costumes.
if you are...
But maybe they enjoy dressing up like women.
If you are 435 pounds, do not wear Betty and Veronica outfit. It just doesn't work.
And don't
we have seen the male Catwoman walking around the top floor of the parking garage down in Rosemont.
Man, I remember that.
With the little girl who was about 11 at the time. And is that a man? Yeah, that's a man.
Yeah,
why is he dressed like that? Because I think he likes Catwoman.
I think he likes Catwoman.
You know, cosplayers, the vast majority of them are fine, but there are a couple of them, and it's like any group. It's any group. You
go too far.
You get a couple of them that are unhinged. I was starting to say I transitioned about 4 or 5 years ago from being like you,
sour,
to
I'm insulted by it.
to being more of. Tolerant. Oh, look at this goofy thing I found on the internet.
Yeah, you find a lot of goofy stuff on the internet.
I put goofy stuff up. Up and make wry to sarcastic comments about it.
You have done that, especially
I do.
The Batman slapping Robin every 5 seconds.
I didn't make. I would love to take credit for that, but I didn't make that.
He's a huge gift guy. He likes gifts.
Okay, and that's going to do it. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, JR will be here with a review of...
Same old Ethan.
You know, folks, there really is no other store that has as many sales as Alternate Reality. Beyond our signature sale of 15% off all new comics, we also have specialized sales peppered throughout the week, month, and year. For example, did you know that every Thursday is Ladies' Day at the store? That's right, ladies. Stop by the store and you'll save 20% off all of your purchases all day long. Ladies from 8 to 80 get a 20% discount on everything all day, every Thursday, only at Alternate Reality.
Hello everyone, good old JR, Jim Rutkowski here with another movie review, and this time it's Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt back again after 22 years and 6 installments in Mission Impossible Fallout. Is this mission worth accepting? Let's find out.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, I wonder, did you ever choose not to?
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over a million.
If he had held on to the plutonium, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
His team would be dead.
Yes, they would. That's the job.
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?
What the hell is he doing?
I find it best not to look.
Mission Impossible is one of the more consistently reliable of all the long-running movie franchises. Over 6 films and an almost unbelievable span of 22 years, this series has never grown stale, reinvigorating itself with increasingly outrageous action set pieces and fresh blood at the helm nearly every time. From Brian De Palma's 1996 original film, John Woo's 2000 sequel, J.J. Abrams' 2006 follow-up, Brad Bird's 2011 installment, and Chris McQuarrie's 2015 entry, each one feels like a coherent piece of something larger, even as each filmmaker has brought their own individual style and flair to the intrigue-filled, tautly designed, stunt-heavy proceedings. For Fallout, McQuarrie returns, actually the first director to return for one of these films, has upped the ante once again and to sometimes some dizzying degrees. Even as you're watching, you can scarcely believe what's been pulled off. So the IMF is never long without a megalomaniac to thwart, and this time, Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise, Benji Dunn, played by Simon Pegg, Luther Stickle, played by Ving Rhames, have in custody anarchist Solomon Lane, played by Sean Harris, and an entire terrorist group called the Apostles, led by a mysterious figure named John Lark that they have to deal with. Their mission, if they choose to accept it, and you know they have to choose to accept it, is to retrieve 3 plutonium bombs in the Apostles' possession before they're able to fulfill a trio of cataclysmic attacks. As Ethan and company trot the globe, whisking off to Belfast, Paris, Berlin, and Kashmir, allegiances are tested as Ethan struggles to get a handle on Special Agent August Walker, played by Superman himself Henry Cavill, tasked by no-nonsense CIA Director Erica Sloan, played by Angela Bassett, to shadow the IMF on their latest assignment. Also returning to the fold, MI6 agent Ilsa Faust, played by the great Rebecca Ferguson, torn between helping Ethan and satisfying her own separate mission, as well as Ethan's ex-wife, Julia Meade, played by Michelle Monaghan, now working as an international doctor. Fallout is better and decidedly more impossible than ever, and yet there's never any doubt in Ethan's cunning, dexterous, near superhuman ability to jump from buildings, climb cliffs, hang off the outside of aircrafts in flight, and whisk through busy city streets and trucks and on motorcycles at incredible speeds. At an ageless 56, Tom Cruise plays the part really well, exhibiting his signature charisma and intensity, while personally executing the kind of bonkers stunt work other actors wouldn't so much as wish upon their own stunt person. In a lot of ways, Tom Cruise is the Buster Keaton of the 21st century. If there ever was an Academy Award for performing the most death-defying feats in a single movie, it wouldn't be necessary to nominate anyone else but Tom Cruise. He'd be the only logical choice. So from the abruptly ramped-up opening studio logo, clear through the lighting of the end credits fuse, this film never stops moving. Its pacing is as assured as its somewhat standard but exceptionally well-designed plot. Writer-director Chris McQuarrie finds a rhythm that's at once controlled, spatially coherent, and rousingly and sometimes wincingly intense. There's an overload of exposition up front, which gives way to blessedly little thereafter, as the assuredness of McQuarrie's visuals do much of the talking. Dialogue is used sparingly for long stretches of this film. Double and triple crosses, sly mind games, wickedly entertaining about faces. The film consistently finds ways to surprise the audience every time it begins to feel like a situation has been seen one too many times before. And the inventiveness doesn't stop there. The lensing of the action sequences are full of extended shots and cohesive editing, and whatever might be the result of CGI effects trickery proves very seamless since much of it has been completed practically. Consider, for an example, the terrific scene where Cruise and Henry Cavill skydive through a lightning storm, or the white-knuckle fist fight in a nightclub bathroom with a decoy, or a breathtaking motorcycle chase that leaves you wondering just how they did it. In terms of what he's willing to do on screen in order to raise the bar from the previous Mission Impossible films, Tom Cruise might have no choice but to call it a day after this one. Short of literally blasting himself into outer space, where does he go from here? As a CIA tag-along August Walker, Henry Cavill effectively raises suspicions while leaving the viewer wondering if his motives go beyond Sloane's request to shadow the IMF. There's very little I can discuss about Cavill's performance here without giving away key developments, but he succeeds very well in fulfilling the requirements of his role. Rebecca Ferguson, who was easily the standout of the last Mission Impossible film, Rogue Nation, is excellent once more here as Ilsa Faust. This time, though, her part is not quite as central to the plot, but she's given plenty of juicy chances for some ass-kickery all the same. The only other actor besides Cruise to appear in every installment of Mission Impossible is Ving Rhames. He's been too often ushered to stand along the sides, but at this time in this film, at long last, he's given something significantly more to do. Rhames knocks it out of the park in a couple of intimate exchanges in the second act, also making welcome returns Simon Pegg as Benji and Michelle Monaghan as Cruise's ex-wife Julia, whose bittersweet relationship with Ethan comes full circle. She first appeared in Mission Impossible 3. Angela Bassett makes a great entrance as CIA Director Erica Sloane. Now, thinking too hard about logistics in a film like this is fruitless. Instead, what's important is the adrenaline rush of the experience and how well it's achieved. The answer? It's done exceedingly well, right down to that old chestnut, the ticking time bomb, cause for a final 15 minutes of classic Cracker Jack suspense. With nearly a sign of series fatigue in sight, Mission Impossible Fallout thrillingly hums along while devising a cavalcade of daring stunts, the likes of which have seldom been attempted on screen before. In terms of pure, sustained, crowd-pleasing excitement, I think it's the best film of the summer. I'm good old JR. Come back next time for another movie review.
Wasn't that a great review?
That was a hell of a review.
That was a great review. I am amazed by how great that review was.
I gotta go see that movie right now.
That JR is incredible. Gentlemen, you have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'd like a burrito.
Be nice on the internet, people. There's a lot of good people out there.
There are a bunch of wonderful, lovely people on the internet, and then there are people who basically
shouldn't even have a computer.
2 words, folks. 2 words. Drop, block.
Wait a minute, isn't that what Dicker did? Football, drop and block.
Yes, drop, block, and roll.
I thought so.
Drop, block, and roll.
Drop and block. I probably have 2,000 to 3,000 names on my drop and block list that I have accumulated over the years.
Not that long.
Because at some point you have a choice. You can either argue with these people until they put you in the ground, or I can just make you disappear. And you know what? Making them disappear is much easier.
Oh, wish them into the cornfield.
That's what I used to say. That's what I used to tell. That's what I tell people. I when they get on my page, I go, dude, if you don't tune it down, you're going to get wished into the cornfield.
Nobody, and only small number caught that.
And when they didn't listen to me, you're off in the cornfield, and you don't exist anymore. Yeah, because you know what? Unless it's somebody you know, I know you, you know me. But, there's a ton of people on Facebook that I don't know. I mean, I don't really know them. They're Facebook friends, and I see them come up on my home screen a lot, but I don't know them, and they don't know me. And I'm sure that, and from talking to them and chatting with them, I'm sure that they're for the most part, they're all wonderful people. But you know what? The ones that aren't,
we're twits.
Just drop and block them.
Twits.
Get them out of your life.
There are people who I talk to on Facebook that I haven't seen in years. And we are more friendly and sociable on Facebook than we were when we actually were hanging around each other. Howard Chicken apparently and I are cool.
Hey kids, comics.
Hey kids, comics.
Okay, with that, we're going to get out of here. We're done. We're finished. Be sure to go to the store's website, myalternatereality.com, where you will find all of Bo's news. You will find JR's reviews. You'll find Vito Carly's reviews. You will find everything you ever want to know about the store's sales. Shipping, of course, is on there every week, and a multitude of other things. myalternatereality.com. Be sure to check out this podcast. You can see this podcast, or hear this podcast, I should say, on YouTube. We are on YouTube. If you can't find it on any other platform, and we're on a lot of them, you can find it on YouTube. And
I find it on YouTube all the time.
And you can also find the links to it on myalternatereality.com. So be sure to stop off there. Until next time, this is Comic Book Man saying to Rod,
I'm going to go cosplay as a human being next week.
Good idea. Good idea.
This is Bo, whose Halloween costume for years was I'm a black guy.
And you know what? You know what? Yeah. People still don't buy it.
I tried.
People still don't buy it. And until next time, folks, this is me saying bye. Thanks a lot for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please like and share it with all your friends. We value your feedback, so drop us a question, comment, show idea, or complaint either at arcomics@msn.com or, if provided, in the comments section down below on this platform. You The opinions expressed in this episode are solely those of the individuals and not necessarily those of Alternate Reality Incorporated. This show is, as always, coming to you from the Alternate Reality Comic Shop, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, serving Chicago comics fandom since 1994.
I'm out of here.